Hello everyone, this is 3 and welcome back to GTNH. So in the last couple of days, I've really been in the mood to start Forestry Bees. So in this episode, that is exactly what we're gonna do. Yeah, we have like 2 chapters in the quest book here which are basically untouched. We have the first 2 quests, which is to collect like a bee, but all of this is unexplored territory, and I think that's why it makes it so appealing and so exciting. I mean, like, look at this, there's so many different custom bees you can get here. Like neutronium. I had no idea you could get neutronium. I'm gonna be honest here though, at the very beginning of this journey, and it is gonna be a long journey through bees. We're gonna be fully embracing Beefold here, and we're gonna get all the bees. I have a feeling this video is gonna take me a while to put together, but I'm just gonna take as much time as I need, and I'm gonna try to be an expert by the end of this. That is my goal. But we're starting off here as a complete beginner, as a complete novice, so we'll be learning this together, I suspect. So first off, just as a recap from last episode, we fully rebuilt our applied energistics controller here in the new base in the Void. And it meant we could take down the old controller here and tidy up some of the wiring, although this is going to be an ongoing process as we start to phase out more and more machinery here in the overworld base. We also managed to invest in the wireless terminal, so we have wireless access to our applied energistics system. At least here in the Void dimension, I did go ahead and place a few more wireless access points. Although I think we're missing some coverage mostly on the western side of the base over here. But that's just because we don't have enough channels over here. We haven't run any cabling underneath, or yeah, even in the wiring tunnels. And you might remember we were waiting on some singularities, which have finished actually between the episodes. And I was in fact able to craft up the wireless crafting terminal, which I was surprised to see doesn't actually use the regular wireless terminal in its craft, although these are from separate mods. This is from default applied energistics, and this one is its own mod, I guess. But there's a couple benefits to this one. Mainly it is a bauble slot, so we can bind it to a key. And I've also crafted up a magnet card, which can automatically pick up things that you break in world and place it into the ME system. I think so long as you're in range. And that also has a toggle as well, so that's going to be kind of useful for breaking down some old machine setups in the overworld. I also went ahead and took a trip back to Demos, which is where the 2 miners were. Those had finished several hours before the last episode had concluded. So I went and collected those, since I'm not sure what all we need for bees, to be honest. Like, do we need some extra ore veins? Do we need some extra materials? Do we need infrastructure upgrades in the base? I honestly don't know, there's so many different questions to answer here. Is bees even a viable strategy? I mean, I'm told they're very powerful, but I mean, yeah, how viable exactly are they going to be to generate resources? Like I said, I'm a little unsure on the details, but I know they produce combs, and the combs you can centrifuge, like for example a diamond comb, centrifuge for diamond fragments, and this you can craft into a diamond. So this is the way that you generate resources from the bees. So consider this part 1 to Beefold and our bee journey. It's going to take quite a number of episodes, I suspect. Like, yeah, a lot of episodes. So let's get started. Okay, so I suppose the first step here is to try to take stock of what we have so far in terms of forestry bees. We have an apiary, apparently. We have a beealyzer. Again, I have no idea what any of these things do. So I searched the chests, and it appears we do have a few species of bee here. I think all of these come from the naturally generated hives which spawn out in the world, and I have broken a few of them, so I believe that's where these originated from, but I think we're going to have to find some more here, like there's one. Normally I think you need a scoop for them, but the Vajra does work for us, fortunately, and it will give us the bees inside. I heard that you can also get quite a lot of bees from villages, and there is a village right next to spawn here, so I'm not... Yeah, I don't remember if I already took the beekeeper's belongings from here. Hello, spider. Oh, it's a tough spider. Very tough spider. Very tough spider. There we go. Yeah, any beekeepers in this village? Man, I remember being here at the very beginning gathering bricks from this house, it looks like. I haven't been here in so long. It's been years actually since I've visited this village. Okay, I think this is the beekeeper's house. We got I don't even know how to pronounce that. I'm gonna take it though because it's from Forestry. A few more drones, I mean. Propolis, grafter, frozen combs, and we got some apiaries out here as well, which has some frames, some more bees. I'm going to take all this. We're getting quests galore, so I'm assuming we're doing something right. So after some success in the first village, I went ahead and raided a few more, and collected all of their bee longings. And while traveling between the villages, I also stopped by any hives that I came across and scooped those up, collecting many more bees to get us started here. Sorry fellas, can't help you. And that guy just suffered the same fate. Oh, he's doomed. They're all doomed. But there's also one more thing I'm told that we need, and it's very important, apparently, from several different sources. They've all mentioned that we need something called the Oblivion frame. Yeah, this item here from Magic Bees, it does have a crafting recipe, but we've not unlocked the research yet. It does spawn in the strongholds though, so we're going to try to find an extra stronghold. I know there's one to our north, up here, but I searched that one last night and it doesn't have any Oblivion frames, unfortunately. So we're going to have to find a second stronghold. And from what I remember in 1.7, yes, we got the eye back. From what I remember in 1.7, there's a limited number of strongholds. So I hope that we get lucky here, otherwise we're going to be diving into Thaumcraft. Oh, there's another hive. This one is the Meadows hive. This is one of the most basic bees, I think. I think I remember seeing those in the first quest. Yeah, it's part of the first quest, but all of the bees have different stats, none of which I understand just yet, so I'll give you a rundown on those later in the episode once I get familiar with these things. Oh, we have another hive right here. Modest. Yeah, there's different stock as well. Ignoble, I think, means that they can die. And there's also a pristine, which means that they can't die. So I think eventually we want to have all pristines. Okay, we found the stronghold. Let's see if we get any luck here in finding a chest. Oh, zombie. And the last stronghold was actually huge, so I'm surprised we didn't have any. There was several loot chests in there, but yeah, again, unfortunately no frame. And this is I hear creepers. Creepers scare me still in this. Even though we have, like, pretty decent armor. I mean, there is some nasty varieties of creeper. Especially that drowning creeper. There's another one. Oh, missed. Oh, first chest. First chest. Are we going to get lucky? Nope. Just garbage. In fact, I'm not even going to take this. Oh, there he is. The drowning creeper. I don't think so. I don't think so. Hey, you know what? Other than that stronghold I raided last night, I couldn't tell you the last time I actually explored in this game. It's kind of refreshing getting out of the base for a while, because I know we're going to be in there for quite some time. Although one other thing I do understand about the bees is there's certain biome requirements, and some of them can only be bred and produce their combs in their preferred environment. Nothing. So we're going to have to either compromise and put the bees outside the base, or there is methods to change the biome that we're in. But that involves some witchery shenanigans and Thaumcraft and blood magic. So we're going to be doing quite a lot of magic here coming up soon. And we got the library. There's normally a chest in here as well, right? Yeah. Take the knowledge note. Nothing else here though. One more chest actually. Nothing. Oh, a second library. Right next to the other one. Well, there it is. It's like literally right next door. Look at this. Look, it's right here. The other library is right here. I'm out of here, I guess. Let's just dig straight up. Oh, you know what? We should actually mark this on the map as well. Alright, for now, back to base, and we'll see what the next steps is going to be. Just before we move on though, I was editing the video and I spotted in the footage that I'd actually missed a chest. Some of you guys might have seen it. It's right here. And curiosity got the better of me, so I did end up going back to that library in the stronghold. And well... Oh, no way. Well, I'm glad I came back here. Okay guys, let me tell you, this is so exciting. I should have started bees so much sooner. I'm actually loving this. Oh, we just lost our princess though. We're trying to make a majestic and it got turned into a noble. Man, come on, RNG, come on. Oh nice, we got it back. Majestic, so this should be the quest, right? Assuming the stats are all correct, which they're not. We would have had the quest by now. So, for the bees, there's basically two different stats. You can see here there's active and inactive. This looks like it's a crossbreed, and we need a purebred for the quests. Okay, let's keep on going. We want majestic right now, so let's breed majestic with majestic. So yeah, we're through like the first 3 quests, and it's been hours. Yeah, guys, it's been hours for me so far. Like, look at all the bees we have. It's crazy so far. So, first of all, after I returned from the stronghold, I did go and search for some more nests. And that was mainly just so we could get some more princesses, because as far as I'm aware, you can't generate any more of these princesses, but you can crossbreed them. So I just wanted to get a bigger variety of bees. I mean, yeah, we have quite a lot to work with here, but I'm trying to just follow the quests, and our goal is to get the Industrious and the Imperial Bee. And the reason we want these two is for our first major objective. We want to upgrade these apiaries as much as we can. And the next upgrade, other than the frames, which I'll talk about this Oblivion frame in a second, but man, I'm glad to have this thing. The biggest upgrade to the apiary is the Alveary, and this can allow us to manipulate the stats on the bees much easier. Let's keep going for this majestic. I realized we probably shouldn't have had the soul frames in there, because soul frames increase mutation rate, so I could be wrong, but I guess we don't really want mutation. We want it to be a purebred for the quest. But yeah, the Alveary is what we're going to want to craft here, and I want to try to get that this episode, although it's expensive. It is super expensive, at least when you're first starting out bees, because we need a lot of honey, we need a lot of everything. What did we get? Noble? We don't want the noble, we want the majestic. Let's keep it going here. But yeah, the Oblivion frames, as you can see, do have durability, like all the frames, so we have to be careful it doesn't break. Unfortunately, in the apiary, you can't remove the Oblivion frame automatically, so we just have to keep an eye on it, really. But there's not really a whole lot else for me to do out here, so I've just been staring at this apiary. However, we can use our Thaumic Restorer and repair the soul frames and the Oblivion frames. So, I mean, so long as I'm observant enough, what did we get? We got our majestic back. As long as I'm observant enough, we shouldn't ever have to go out and find any more Oblivion frames. The 6 that we have should last us forever, ideally. But I believe with the Alveary upgrade, we are able to extract the Oblivion frames and repair them automatically. So without the Oblivion frame, a queen can last here for like 10 minutes or so. But with the Oblivion frame, it takes it down to about 30 seconds, 20 seconds or so. And that can again be sped up with... what are they called? The World Accelerator? I know it's a lot of information all at once, and it was definitely a lot of information for me as well. Is that the quest? Yes! Nice, we got our majestic. Okay, so now that we have a new species of bee, I think what we want to do here is try to generate as many drones as we can. Already we do have quite a lot of drones, but I think all of these are crossbred between noble. It's also approaching dark, we should make sure to sleep here. For 2 reasons. One is for the creepers, and 2 is because most of the bees are diurnal, which is one of the stats that they can have. Bees can only work during the day, or at least most of the bees can only work during the day. Let's keep it going with the queen here. Yeah, so for those of you guys who don't understand bees, you probably have no idea what we're doing here, and I don't blame you at all, because I am doing a terrible job at trying to explain what we're doing here. Because to be honest, I still don't know myself. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, but essentially for the time being, we're not going to care about the stats. We're really only interested in the species right now. Hey guys, so this is 3 coming at you from much later in the episode, and I wanted to put in here early in the video that if you're looking for a good resource for bees, then I want to recommend Diddy's Guide to Bees. It's a relatively new tutorial series here on YouTube, and it's up to date for GTNH 2.5.1. So if you want to learn bees and get relevant information from someone who knows what they're talking about, I'll leave a link in the description. And also don't forget to check out our spreadsheet, mostly written by TheShadowofX, who you've seen in the comments, or Metis. I've mentioned a couple of times, but I'll also leave that in the description. That also has some good bee resources. But yes, Diddy's Guide to Bees, it's helped me out here in the last few days, and yeah, definitely check that out. But with that, back to the video. So there's a strategy where you can get breeding stock, essentially your ideal bee with all the stats that you want. Things like faster production, shorter lifespan, so it runs the cycles faster, increased fertility, higher tolerances on the climate and humidity. So you want to create like a master template bee and then pass those stats on to all the rest of the species. But that is more efficiently done in the Alveary, so for now, we're not going to worry about the stats, we're just worried about the species and trying to get all the different variants of the drones. And speaking of, I thought I was recording there, but apparently not. I did just manage to get the pure Imperial Princess, along with a bunch of drones here, so we should have enough to start production of these bees, which, if you'll remember, is one of our targets. This one we need for Royal Jelly, and this is a core component in the Alveary craft. Yeah, so next we want to work towards the Industrious, and for that we need Unweary and Diligent. Diligent is Cultivated Common, and Unweary is Diligent Cultivated. We do have the Common and Cultivated right now. We need to work on getting Diligent. Ah, this is not what we want. We've got a Cultivated Rocky Hybrid. Man, this is so fun. I'm actually loving this. And I'm probably like gonna forget to record a lot more. Yeah, like, I'm just in such a flow here. I'm like, okay, one more bee. Just throw it in one more time. Let's see what we get here. But yeah, I'm loving this, and I apologize if I end up cutting out too much, but is this one the purebred? Ah, again, Cultivated Rocky. I think that we want to get a purebred Cultivated, and then breed that with a purebred Common, and that should give us the Diligent drone. Aha, double cultivated, nice. Okay, so now cultivated plus common. Do we have any pure commons? That's Rocky. Oh yeah, we got tons of commons in here, but I think some of these are half. No, this is double common. Again, we're not really going to worry about any of these stats right now. I just want to get at least a bee. Oh yeah, and the soul frame. That should increase our chances of mutation, right? Come on, RNG. Come on, RNG. Let's see what we get. Diligent? No, we got the common. But that's okay, because we can keep going with cultivated plus common. And this should give us what we want. Okay, so I'm going to be here for many more hours trying to get the bees that we need. I'm actually looking forward to the grind though. A lot of people I've heard complain at the bee grind in GTNH. And technically it's not necessary. I mean, you can totally get away with not doing bees, but we're going to fully embrace Beefold and go all in. And I want all the bees here. In the meantime though, let's have a look at what else we need to craft this Alveary, because there's a lot of other materials required, not just the outputs of the Imperial and Industrial bees. Come on, Diligent, Diligent. Oh, it's common again. So one of the first things I noticed we need for the Alveary is a fluid called seed oil. And we need quite a bit of seed oil, so I decided to put it on passive. I went ahead and set up a farming station, and we're using that unstable matic. You know, the one that we got from the quest reward a couple of episodes ago? We used to farm wheat with it to make the hempcrete to build our base, but we have enough wheat and we also have it in the crop sticks now. and wheat is not a very efficient recipe for seed oil. Instead, one of the most efficient ways to get seed oil is to use peanuts. And fortunately, I did keep a copy of the peanut seed in our original starter base farms. So I went ahead and took the peanuts along with a MV fluid extractor. Since there isn't really much point in us storing the peanuts, we might as well store the fluid. So we have the farming station sending the peanuts into the fluid extractor, and the fluid extractor automatically makes us seed oil. And then the seed oil is automatically sent to the applied energistics system and sent back to a dual interface, where it's all funneled into main fluid storage as we have a brand new super tank dedicated for seed oil. And with a relatively simple setup, we're now passively making seed oil for all of our bee adventures. Once the farm was set up, I started to encode some recipes for the apiary and all of its surrounding components, since that's also used in the Alveary craft. And we're not going to stop using the apiary after we get the Alveary. You might also notice I'm having a hard time pronouncing apiary and Alveary. Apiary? 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 I don't know. And we had most of the infrastructure already, it was just a matter of adding patterns. But there was a bizarre chemical bath recipe for creosote woodblock, and we need creosote oil. So after adding a chemical bath in a totally sane location, don't worry, we're going to move all these machines, but yeah, we got the chemical bath placed down. We needed to have a source of creosote oil, and we do in fact make creosote oil. It's made in the same place we make benzene, in the first slot of the distillation towers, so that was actually being voided. It was going into a P2P tunnel, and I think going into a super tank to be voided in the overworld. Either way though, we didn't have a fluid storage bus on creosote oil, so I decided to give it a space in main fluid storage in the void dimension. And I switched out the P2P tunnels with dual interfaces so that it goes via applied energistics into the fluid storage bus. And that also gives us auto-crafting capabilities, so it can be sent to the chemical bath to make the creosote woodblock. And then I think it's cut down into slabs and then sent in the assembler with the seed oil to make impregnated frames. So there was a lot of problem solving, and we still have more to do here as we expand our bee empire. We're really only at the beginning, we've only really scratched the surface. But yeah, we should now be able to auto-craft the apiary. Let's make it like another 10. Oh, actually, maybe not. Maybe we should hold on to the seed oil because, yeah, the seed oil is used in other places. How much seed oil do we have by now? 40 buckets? Yeah, I set up the farm before I started messing with any of the bees, which is why we have so much. But yeah, we really don't get that much, even with the efficient peanut recipe. Okay, so next steps for us is going to be to look at the crafting of the Alveary. And I did make a start on encoding some more recipes, which I haven't shown you guys, but yeah, it was basic stuff. Things like bronze casing and steel screws. Somehow we didn't have the recipe for steel screws. I don't know how we've survived this long without a recipe for steel screws, but hey. We should have it now, and we also appear to have maintenance issues. I hear you, clean room. That's so loud, I'm going to have to turn that down in post. However, I touched on earlier when we were in the stronghold that there is biome and climate requirements for the bees. So it looks like they've put a flower up here. That wasn't me. They do have a pollination stat, which spreads flowers nearby, and somehow, I didn't know it could go that high. Anyways, the climate on the bees, there is actually ways to get around it. There is a climatizer, which we will definitely want to invest in actually, but this takes a little bit to craft, and we weren't quite there yet. So I've went ahead and set up 3 apiaries right here, and this is actually in the Eerie biome. It's changed by this obelisk from Thaumcraft, because all of the other surrounding biome around here is hot forest, and that is also unsuitable for most of the bees. Our void dimension is jungle biome, which is not very good for most bees. It is, however, good for the crops, so it was a bit of a trade-off, and yeah, the crops enjoy the hot climate of the jungle, whereas the bees not so much. So yeah, we have apiaries set up here for the Imperial and the Industrious, which I did manage to get. I managed to get pure for both of these after a lot of breeding. There was a lot of bee breeding. I was actually there for hours afterwards, collecting all the bees that we need. But it was a lot of fun. I was out in the middle of nowhere again because of the climate. But all of our bee stock is now back here at the base, and we're going to move it eventually into the void once we have our Alveary and the acclimatizer. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to handle this, but we'll have to figure out a solution for placement for the bees. That is still up in the air. So yeah, right now we have the Imperial, we have Industrious, and I also have a Cultivated Common. I think this was just supposed to be common, but somehow it mutated into cultivated. I think I might have put the wrong bee in there, but either way, we're making honeycomb from this. And honeycomb we need for beeswax, and beeswax we need for, where is it here? Scented paneling. This is the main cost in the Alveary. Alveary? Yeah, so there should be a quest here for the Alveary, and it looks like it has opened up for us now. We need 216 royal jelly, 216 pollen clusters, and 216 scented paneling. Oh my goodness, so expensive. But the Industrious is making us the pollen. We have 38 right now, which is absolutely nothing. We have 59 royal jelly from the Imperial. So you get the bee outputs whenever you don't have the Oblivion frame. I think I understand this a little better. Essentially, whenever the queen is in the apiary, it's going to run its bee cycles, as it's called. And by default, I mean, I guess it depends what block you have it in. For the apiary, it starts at a specific number. Yeah, it says in the tooltip there, b to the power 0.25 times 0.846. Don't ask me what those numbers mean, but it's a very it's a very complicated formula that GTNH has to calculate the production speed of the bees, and it also takes into account the bees' production themselves. So this bee, for example, has a normal production rate, and I think it goes like slowest, then slow, then normal, then fast, then blinding. Each one decreasing the amount of time that the queen has to stay in the apiary before it dies, and will give you another drone and another princess so you can start the cycle again. So we just have some item conduit on insert and extract on the same channel, and this will just extract the queen, or sorry, extract the princess when the queen dies and any other drones that it gives us, and then put them back in the apiary to start the queen cycle again. And during the queen cycle, during the work progress that you can see on the tooltip, it will occasionally give you the output, in this case dripping comb and royal jelly. So that is how we're generating these 3 resources, and they're essentially on passive. We don't need to do anything, we just have to give them a flower. Some bees have specific requirements in terms of their flower. For example, one of the bees, Tropical, which gave me a lot of trouble trying to find. I was out in the jungles and the marshes for quite some time. I could not find these little guys, but there was a quest for it, to find some tropical bees. So these tropical bees we have set up here with vines, and this is their specific flower block that they need. Some of them require mushroom, which is back here, which is why we have the cobblestone around. That was for the marshy, which I bred the tropical drone from. But these are making us silky comb, and silky comb we need for propolis, right? Silky propolis. And silky propolis we need for silk wisp. And silk wisp we need for woven silk, and woven silk we need for the apiarist's suit. The full suit will give you protection from any of the nasty effects from the bees. So actually, normally the tropicals have a poison effect. Looks like for our specific queen here, it's been bred out of the queen, so it's now on the inactive traits. The poison used to be on here, but I guess one of the drones here didn't have poison, and so the effect was passed on to the inactive trait, and the active trait, which is what the bee actually follows when it's in the apiary, this effect is none. But you can get some really cool effects on the bees. I didn't actually know that you could get effects like things to boost your nodes from Thaumcraft, which we'll definitely want to invest in. You can get other status effects like regeneration and night vision. Maybe for blood magic, we might want to have some regeneration bees for when we do self-sacrifice to get blood for the altar. So many things to do, but I'm realizing here that our production of all this stuff is, well, insufficient to say the least. This is going to be so slow. And I did actually AFK multiple hours this morning while I was out, and still we only have 40 and 59, and we needed what? 200 and something? 216? I'm probably going to end up adding some more apiaries just to speed up those bees, but I'll have to get another queen for the Industrious and whatnot, so that involves a lot more breeding. So similar to some of the multi-block structures in Gregtech, I think this is configurable, where we have things like the electrical stimulator, provides a variety of functions. All numbers are in percent. I think we give this power, and then it can affect things like the lifespan or the mutation rate, all of the bee stats. This is what I was talking about by being able to adjust the bee stats to what we want. So I think it's the electrical stimulator that affects this type of thing. So I went through the quests, and for all the Alveary blocks, I went ahead and pinned everything, and there's 14 different blocks that we need to be able to auto-craft, since, like I mentioned, we are going to have like 60, 70, 80 of these Alvearies eventually. So I don't know if all of these are necessary, but I want to make sure that we put in the effort now to encode the patterns, just to make our lives a bit easier in the future. So for a lot of these, you're going to notice that there's assembler recipes and carpenter recipes. I don't know which one we're going to use. Oh, I already have this one. The assembler recipes are relatively slow, but it doesn't tell us the carpenter recipe time. Like this one here, for example, the rain shield. I don't know what this does, but yeah, the recipe at MV is 60 seconds. We're going to get an overclock because most of our assemblers are EV and above. We have a HV assembler here, but the processing array I think runs at EV. We are, however, running out of space in the assemblers, so I might just craft some carpenters and use those for the Alveary blocks. But again, I don't really know where that's going to go. Glass? Do we really need white glass for this? Can we not use regular glass? I think we might be able to, right? Yeah, it's any glass. Okay, next up, Alveary heater. There's a couple of items in here which are kind of scaring me a bit, like these electron tubes. And honey, all this honey, like 5 buckets of honey for 1 heater. That's a lot of honey. The fan is another 5 buckets of honey, and we have 0. Like, we don't have any honey in our system. Hydro regulator, another 5 buckets of honey. All the rest of the stuff doesn't look too bad. Oh, I'll have to fix the circuit here. We want the integrated circuit, this one here. Okay, electrical stimulator. Refined circuit boards. I remember these from... Oh no, look at all this stuff. Oh my goodness, so many things to make. Soul frames. Oh, no way, we don't have the soul frame recipe. Well, I'm hoping the mutator isn't actually necessary. We'll add a recipe for it anyway, but the soul frames that we were using, I found in the original chest, so we looted them from somewhere. I don't really know where we got them from. And proven frames, we also don't have the recipe for that either. So I hope that the frame housing isn't necessary, otherwise we're going to have to do some Thaumcraft research. Let's get a recipe for it though. Anything else scary in here? The item filters we can make. Again, more electron tubes, more royal jelly. Another 5 buckets of honey. You see what I mean by this thing being expensive? It's so expensive. Oh, and I think that's also the wrong type of plating as well. Maybe not, but we'll need a compressor recipe for that plating. And let's do this 64 at a time. Might as well do it 64 at a... Actually, this is charged. And we don't necessarily use these platings. Yeah, let's not do this 64 at a time. This is a case where it doesn't necessarily make sense to do it 64 at a time. We'll do it 8 at a time. And of course our compressor is full. What is it called again? Pattern expansion cards? Pattern capacity cards? Yeah, these things. Let's get a few of these, because we are going to need some more space in our assemblers as well. So where's the compressor? I think it's around the other side. It's only in a single block. Again, this is another project that we need to do, is move all of these machines and also upgrade their capability, because we're very quickly running out of slots here in the interfaces. Oh, wait a second. We actually do have a chemical bath here. So we didn't need to add that MV one back here for the creosote block. Oh well, I'll leave it now. Yeah, this is what we make the radon stuff with, but I guess we'll leave it. So pattern expansion in the compressor, this gets the recipe, and all these need to fit inside a dual assembler somewhere. Okay, you know what? I think I will make all the carpenters for all those recipes. However, all that honey, the liquid honey, is getting me a little bit concerned right now that we're not going to have this Alveary this year, so I want to do something about that. And I have received a nice tip from Itachi. I want to shout out Itachi actually in this episode. Itachi just got his first Stargate, or his first 2 Stargates. So congratulations to you, Itachi. I know you're watching this episode. Stargate right now just seems like an impossible task, and anyone that's able to achieve that, congratulations. But Itachi has also recently restarted GTNH, and he's also doing bees. He's at around the same point in progression as us, although he's much faster. However, he has told us that honey can spawn in the nether. And I think this is what we're looking for. These guys here, they're going to be hostile. Yeah, we might get stung here, but I think we're going to be able to find naturally generating honey here. Or maybe at least the things to get honey. This is from Biomes of Plenty. So we can get beeswax this week. Can we turn this beeswax into honey? Or is it... I mean, I know we need the beeswax as well for scented paneling. So either way, this might be useful. But I don't know. I thought there was honey in this. Maybe not. Oh, some of them are dropping filled honeycomb. Does this have honey in it? It has honey drops. Can we turn this into... Yeah, tiny amount. Yeah, looks like we have like 5 or 6 in the vicinity, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I wonder if there's any liquid honey in these ones as well, or no. Oh, nice, there is. Yeah, this one is totally filled. So the question is that the same honey, and can we use it in the recipe? Because if it is, that's going to be huge. That's going to be a huge time saver. I brought some buckets with us. Can we pick this up? Is this the same honey? It's Biomes of Plenty honey. Oh, but we can centrifuge. Look at this. We can centrifuge into Gregtech honey. And Gregtech honey is the one we need. Yes, for scented paneling. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Oh, and even honey blocks on the inside. I bet you can, like, macerate this or centrifuge this for more honey as well. Fluid extract for a full bucket. Well, there you go. There's some of our blocks for the Alveary right here. I had no idea you could shift right-click buckets into a super tank to empty them. How many of you guys were aware of this feature? Is this a GTNH only thing? And sure, there is more efficient methods to gather this, like the thirsty tank from Thumbcraft, but I kinda doubt we have the research, and it really ain't that bad. It's almost empty already. So 114 buckets of honey and over 1,000 combs to be sent through a centrifuge for processing into beeswax. I'll probably go back and annoy the wasps again, or the bees. The quest says wasps, doesn't it? Yeah, it says they're giant wasps. And all of the other bee combs, for example the silky, also has to be sent through a centrifuge for processing. So I'm thinking it might not be a bad idea to have a dedicated centrifuge just for the bees. So I've went ahead and put together the materials here for a GT++ centrifuge. The same one we use in ore processing, and also the crops have a couple of these centrifuges. So I think we're just missing the controller block. So as for the placement of the centrifuge, well, I have no idea because we don't really have a dedicated bee space yet. It's a toss-up between going north or going south, and I haven't quite decided yet. So I think for today we're going to build this in a temporary location, just so we can get some infrastructure down, and then we'll build ourselves a dedicated bee space next episode, I think. If not next episode, then very soon. It depends how far we can get with the bees today. Oh, I cannot believe that just happened. Oh my goodness, we had an explosion. Explosion, where's all my cable? The cable! That could have been so bad. That could have been so bad. That was a waste of an HV circuit assembler. Okay, once more, this time with the transformer. Yeah, Threefold still got it. We've still got it, boys. Alright guys, so we are back after that little accident. I don't know what happened. The one time I don't check voltage tiers and we have an explosion. However, we now have a centrifuge to process honey and honeycombs. We have an HV circuit assembler making us all of the electron tubes and all of the circuit boards. And we're now capable of crafting everything for the Alveary. I mean, our system knows how to craft it, it's just that we're still missing the input ingredients, mostly from the bees. Yeah, I'm gonna have to breed up some more bees still. But I don't want to end this episode without the Alveary. Alveary. Oh, I'm never going to get that right. How much of this stuff are we at by now? Just over a stack of royal jelly, a stack of pollen, and like, yeah, another stack of honey. So I thought we could get away with just one of each, but that ain't going to cut it at all. Ain't going to cut it. So I'm going to spend my evening here breeding bees. And I'm going to try to get like 4 or 5 pairs of each, because I really want to craft this Alveary for the end of the episode. Still no clue how to use it right enough, that's something we're going to have to figure out next episode, but I want it crafted at the very least. And I guess I'm going to have to get some more tropical drones as well. Although maybe not, we might be able to get our apiarist suit with the silky that we have, so we can process all these combs in the centrifuge. Right? Centrifuge, there we go. I put on the ME output buses and output hatches on the machine, so the honey is sent to main fluid storage and any item output is just put back in the drive somewhere. Yeah, we should have a recipe for woven silk. This is a circuit assembler, or a regular assembler 9, and I ended up sharing the program circuit, so I don't know if we're going to have a conflict. I haven't checked this recipe yet, let's see if it works. Oh, and also we do have I went with a storage bus on here, with an OR dictionary filter card, which filters for bee combs, which matches the OR dictionary name on all of the combs. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is the best method. We might just put an interface on it, but I'm thinking that we might have a subnet to handle the bee output storage whenever we build it properly. I haven't really decided yet. If you guys have any suggestions, then feel free to let me know. But doing it this way means that any combs that go into our AE system will be stored in the centrifuge, processed, and then give us the output. Although thinking about it, some of the combs are used as combs, right, in the recipe. Like the regular honeycomb. We use that in some crafts, like for the bee house. And in the assembler, it's used in the apiary craft as well, so yeah, maybe that isn't the best solution. But yeah, the recipe did work. We're not going to have enough for the apiarist suit, though, it doesn't look like. Because we need 8 for the chest piece. Yeah, 4 for the boots. I did actually manage to get the leggings from a loot bag. So there's only 3 more pieces to craft. You know what, speaking of the loot bags, let's go ahead and claim all the quest rewards. It's maybe going to help us. Okay, that is a lot of frames. We got an advanced bee bag. I wonder if we should enchant this. I think we need a royal jelly. Yeah, you know what, let's sacrifice one of these to get the enchanted bag. Who knows what it'll give us. It might help us, but I kind of doubt it. A metabolic frame. Mutation rate and a small amount of production. I don't know how useful that is. Well, you'll love to see it. Look at all the bees here, hard at work. Hard at work for us, producing tons and tons of resources. So it's the next day again. I went crazy with the bee additions, in a good way. We are now sitting at 404 royal jelly, not found, and 379 pollen clusters. I also spent some time over at Thomcraft getting all the research for the frames, and there was quite a lot of research to get through. Checking our Apimancy chapter in the Thominomicon though, most of it is done. We have the most important part, which is the proven frames somewhere, but the soul frame, the other one that we need for the mutator, I think we're just going to use the soul frames that we have, maybe keep 1 or 2 around. Only because the soul frame recipe is going to give us warp, and yeah, all those explosions that you hear during the episodes, that is due to Thaumcraft warp, so I don't really want to pick up any more of this. But yeah, we can craft our proven frames here. I think we only need 5, at least if we want 1 of each of these blocks. There's 4 used in the frame housing, and then 1 also in the swarmer. Oh, I'm excited. Let's get this Alveary crafted, finally. Oh my goodness. Okay, so much royal jelly, so much pollen. Let's pick all this up, and we've already done the hard work, so it should just be a matter of requesting the recipes in Applied Energistics. And so long as I didn't miss anything, we should just be able to request everything that we need. So let's just drop all this into the AE system. So it looks like for the quest, the only actual necessary part is to get the 27 Alveary blocks. The rest are all optional, so as long as we hold these 27, we should be good. So let's just go ahead and try to request this stuff. Oh, we're out of honey. Is this the one we were at before? No, but it doesn't have honey. Yeah, so I guess not all of them spawn with liquid honey. This is the one we emptied. Maybe this one is going to have... Nope. Now this is the jackpot right here. This is the jackpot right here. Okay, that's 114. We might as well just grab the rest of this, right? Might as well just empty it out. Oh, they're angry. Oh, they're angry. Run away. Run away. That's a lot of wasps. That's a lot of wasps. And of course we can just centrifuge all this. Ended up getting over 200 buckets of honey. So it should just all convert here 1-to-1 into Gregtech honey through the centrifuge. So I guess we're going to find out here how much it actually is. For each scented paneling, it's a bucket of honey, and oh, I guess it's going to be 216 buckets, right? Yeah, it is 216 buckets of honey, and 32 buckets of seed oil, which is quite a hefty amount. How much are we at by now? Oh, it only leaves us on 9 buckets, wow. Well, I'm definitely glad I built that farm before I started messing with the bees. And that's definitely a tip for you guys as well. Definitely set up seed oil production. I didn't know if we were actually going to need it or not because I didn't look too thoroughly at the beginning of the episode for seed oil, but I'm so glad I automated that when I did. And the other thing is to make sure this recipe works as well, because obviously this is the first time we're crafting the Alveary. I also opted in the end to just put everything in the assembler after all, because the carpenter down there is only 1 recipe. You're limited to 1 single recipe. I crafted up some apiarist chests in this as well. And the apiarist chest allows you to hold bees. It has a specific UI which kind of neatly lays out all the bees here and shows you all the different mutations that are possible. Although I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all these drones. Like, is there actually a use for any of these other than to go through them all and see if there's any with stats that we want on? Or, oh wow, we're back up to another 30 royal jelly, and there's a noble in here somewhere. I keep finding a noble in here, so there must be some bad genes in somewhere. In the industrious, or the imperial line. I'll have to fix that. Awesome, so it looks like we are actually able to craft this stuff. It's 60 seconds a piece though, so yeah, it is pretty slow. Is the scented paneling in the same assembler as the Alveary? It isn't. They're in separate assemblers, but I guess still it takes a little bit to craft. When I was making more industrious and imperial princesses, I did end up actually getting a new species, which is the tolerant drone. And for this princess, I was able to keep a pretty decent stat on it. So it has short lifespan, which is second best, I think, and fast production, which is also decent. It gives us 2 drones as well, and it also is a tolerant flyer, which means it can work during the rain. Nocturnal, which means it works during the night, and diurnal, which means it works during the day. Unfortunately, it's not cave dwelling, which means that it has to have sky access, and I think that also applies in the Alveary, although we do have the blocks to adjust that. And also the humidity tolerance on this can go up and down 1 stat, so it can go from normal to dry, and normal to wet, I think it goes. So like the name suggests, this is a pretty tolerant bee, and I think a good candidate for our first Alveary test. Let's get a drone here as well. Oh, but the drone isn't nocturnal, but it's inactive nocturnal, so Oh, this drone is nocturnal though. We are almost there, guys. 11 more to craft. So I was just looking through the quest again, and I'm trying to think a sandwich. A sandwich bee? What on earth? Yeah, I was just looking at what we should try to go for. Like, what do we try to aim for first? Like, how do we even I didn't notice I had this quest either. I think I got that from a loot bag. I don't even remember where we got that one. Definitely didn't breed that. But yeah, what do we try to target? Like, what is a good bee to put on passive early on? We can get things like copper and iron and tin, but we have a lot of those resources. I don't think these are... Yeah, I don't know if we want to go for something as basic as that, but I guess it might not be a bad idea to start small and then try to work our way up to the more lucrative bees. Some of the ones that I have my eye on, though, is the indium bee. I think there's a platinum bee as well, and also an iridium bee and an osmium bee. So that's going to supplement our plat line, which I keep remembering has to be moved, and oh my goodness, I'm dreading moving that thing. It's going to be such a nightmare to rebuild again. Well guys, after countless hours, we have our very first Alveary. The first of many. I want to be printing these things off in the next couple of episodes. But this should be our quest. There it is. So 27 blocks. I believe this thing is 3x3, although I still don't know how this thing works. So we're just going to get it running and see if we can actually run a bee cycle. And then, yeah, we'll figure out all the optional blocks next episode. But those should be craftable, and they're all upgrades, I believe, from the Alveary. So they all use the Alveary blocks in their craft, and then you combine with various resources, all of which we have the recipes for by this point. But I believe the structure is like this, with some oak slabs on top. And this should form the multi-block. Yes, perfect. Perfection. And we're getting the Alveary GUI. So now it says it's missing a queen. We can give it the princess and the tolerant drone. I'm hoping that... yeah, of course, it's too hot here. Oh, but you can see on the effective production, though, I don't remember what that number was. B to the power 0.52 times something else on the apiary. Yeah, the apiary is not even times 1. So it's B to the power 0.52 times 0.905. Whereas our Alveary here has a much higher effective production rate right off the bat. However, yeah, it is too hot, unfortunately, for this bee to run its cycle. I think the solution to that is the Alveary fan. Decreases temperature a flat 20% each. Oh, but it needs power as well. So yeah, we're going to have to feed this thing power. And I think it takes RF as well, so we're going to have to sort that out. But that's all going to be something for next episode, as we're getting a bit lengthy on this one. And I think this is also a good wrapping up point. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I hope you're excited for the bees. I definitely am. Look at these guys right here buzzing away. We're making the resources actually for our second Alveary. Should be on the way. Oh, it's glorious. I love it. I love it. Anyways, thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode of New Horizons.